Assalamu alaikum. Hello all. Welcome to the day two of 8 days Python course for data science. So today in this chapter we will discuss about three to four things. We will talk about the arithmetic operations. We will talk about the strings, and we will talk about the different type of data types which are used in a Python. So first of all, without before going to the topic, I want you to subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon, and wait for my new videos because in this channel I always upload new videos which is related to the data science, which is related to the artificial intelligence. So if you want this type of stuff, so please subscribe my channel. So let's start. The first thing is what are arithmetic operations? Arithmetic operations, they are the basic mathematical calculations that it can be performed with the Python. It includes the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, the division, the floor division, the module operator, and the exponential. So first of all, let's talk about the addition. Addition means when you add something, when you add some value to something. So for example, I have variable called x, it includes 30 and y is 60. So addition is when I add x plus y. So output will be 90. Now let's copy that code again. And the second thing is the subtraction. Subtraction is same as actually when we subtract something from something. So here we done it's a subtraction. Uh, and you can also use the print function to print the answer, or you can print it here because Jupyter Notebook gives you that feature that you just need to pass that variable and it will print you all these things. You don't need to use the print function here. Okay. Now the third thing is the multiplication. Multiplication means simple multiply. So for multiplication we use the steric. So I already have x and y, so I will do x steric y, and it will give me the multiplication. Okay. Now let's talk about the division. So division, what will it will do? It will actually divide the x on y. Now there is a there. This is actually the simple division. It is called the simple division. Hash is used for the comments. You can use it. It is used for the comments are if I talk about the comments, that these are the code that they are unexecutable, or they are, you can say, they are don't touch by the compiler doesn't touch the comments, it only touches these things. So oh sorry, I'm talking about the interpreter, not a compiler. In Python we use an interpreter, not compiler, which means line by line code execution. Okay, now this is actually the division. Now let's move towards some more thing which is called the floor division. Okay, what's the difference between the division and the floor division? Let's do the floor division, then I will tell you what's the difference. Then the answer will suggest you everything. Floor division, it actually truncates, or it actually remove everything that comes after point, and it will print those values that is before point. For example, I have value which is called 45, and I divide it by 4. So here my answer is 11.25. But when I do the floor division here, it will only be 11, just because it will truncate the value which I have used, which is after the point. So let's move forward. And the second is called the module operator, the second last. Okay, what will module will actually give you the remainder. For example, if I divide 45 on 4, what will be the remainder? So let's divide it, and it will called we will only there will only the remainder will be 1, just because when we divide 45 on 4, we will move toward the 44, and at 44 we will 45 we will subtract 45 from 44 from 45, and the answer will be 1. And this is all about the you can say the remainder. So let's try it. If I divide if I take the module of 45, if I take the module of 45 on 4, so what will you do? You can first of all call it a module operator, and it will give you the one remainder. If I take a module of 9 on 3, then it will actually give me the 0, because it's a complete divisible value. So it will give me the 0, so the remainder will be 0. So it returns the remainder. We can call it, it returns a remainder. Okay, the last one is actually one of the is also one of the important operator when it comes to the Python. It is called exponential means exponential. Exponential means taking the power of something. So for example, I have a value of 14 and I want to print or I want to print the square of the protein. Square means 14 power 2. So I will use the double steric and it will print me a square. If I want to do a cube, then I will use the 3. If I want to do 5, which means that I will multiply 14 5 times, so it will also give me the value. So exponential means on which value you can put on the top of the on the at the place of the exponent of 14. For example, I have a 14 and I want to take the cube of 14. So for this purpose I will use the double steric and at the exponent I will use the 3 and it will actually returns you a cube. So that was all regarding the arithmetic operations. What type of arithmetic operation we can perform using Python. Now let's move forward. So the next thing is actually the data types. What are the data types? Data types are nothing but it actually the different type of a data in which Python variable can hold. For example, it refers to the data the different type of data in which we can store in a Python variable. I explained you what are the variables. If not, then you can check the video before that video. It will be introduction to Python, where I have discussed everything, the nuts and bolts of variable. So first of all, let's talk about the integer variable. What does integer variable do? Integer variable, it store the value in an integer. Okay. The second thing is the float. What does it do? Float actually, in float we store the variable in a points. It will not be like a simple integer. The third is the boolean. The third is the boolean means true or false, one or zero. So in boolean we generally use the true or false in a variable. The fourth thing is equal to is actually a string. What is a string? String is actually a sequence of characters. Whenever you want to print a line in a Python, so that line is considered to be a string because these are the sequence of characters. So I will create a variable here and I will take I am a data scientist. So what does it do? String string represents a sequence of characters. A sequence of characters. Okay, it's actually a string. Now the fourth thing is actually a list. It is one of the important data type list. So I will name it as list td, and it is actually it uses the brackets here, the round brackets, and in that round brackets we can store multiple data type. For example, I can store an integer, I can store that boolean, I can sorry, it is float. I can store the float, I can store the string, I can store any number, any data type. I can store in a string, and it acts like a container which can store multiple values. And the fourth one is the tuples. Tuples are nothing but they are immutable data types. For example, when we create tuple, so this data type is can't be changed. Once it is created, it can be changed. You can't add the value into this data type. For example, in a tuple, if I have put it five values here, 1 2 3 4 5, I can add 6 to the tuples. This is the immutable data type. Immutable data type. Data type. I will also actually write the it is like a container which can store multiple values, which can store multiple values. It's a list, it's about the list. So it is called the immutable data type. After that we have a sets. It will be written in that you can say the middle it, I don't know what it's a curly braces. I think we can call it curly braces. I don't know about it. If you know, then write me in the write in the comment section. So it's actually set is actually a data type which can store the unique values. It can take the double values. When it take the double values, it make it unique. It follows all the protocols that a set follows in mathematics. Simple. The last one is the dictionaries. Dictionaries store the values in a key value. For example, the first is the name. Name I have key and I will write it as Ayaz, and I will make a roll number as 32. These are actually the keys and these are the values. It stores the values in a key values. And here we can get these values by use the key name. In all these data type, we can get the value by using the index, but in the dictionaries, we use the key to get this. For example, if I want to take the Ayas, first of all, run it here. And if I want to take the roll number here, so I have to click here roll number and it will tell me the roll number. Well, in case of a list, I will use the index. Index means I will start from zero and I will write how many on which position I want. For example, I have a list. I want the first is at zero position, so it will return me this thing. Here we will discuss these things in detail. Now let's make it to the third topic. The third topic is about a string. It's about a string. As I already explained to you that what is actually a string. Okay, string is actually a sequence of characters, and we will talk about the operations on strings. Which type of operations we can apply on strings. Okay, for example, I have created a string name string, and the string is I am a data scientist. Okay, now first of all, it is actually a string. If I want to add something to the string, so what should I do? I will do string dot, wait a second, string dot, oh sorry, I was not taking this thing. Okay, if I want to get the data in a string, we can't add a value into string, we can actually replace that value. Okay, but we can add the value in this way. For example, I have a string and I want, which string I want here, I am a data scientist in GC University, you can call it. So for this purpose, so in this we can do, first of all, I will write that string plus which string I want to add, I will return in this string, I will write in this string, I am a data scientist in GCUH. If I click here, then it will add this thing. So in this way we can add something into a string, we can add something into a string. But remember, use the space here. If I can't use the space, then it will be fluctuate with this thing, because string also, it also counts the space. For example, if I want to check the length in the string, how many elements are in the string, so I will use the length function and I will pass the string here. It will tell me. Now you can see these are the just four words, but why 21 characters? Because string also, it also, you can say, these are around about 10 to 12 words, but why it is it is telling me that it's 21? Because string also counts the white spaces. For example, if I created a string here which contain a space, so if I found the length of that string, then it will take it one, because space is also found in a string. String also counts the space. So for example, I will again take this same string, and to find the length of a string, I will write a command here to find length of a string. Okay, now I will again take a string here, I will copy that string from here because I don't want to add another string. Now I want to take the element in a string. So the way to take the element is using the indexing technique. Using the indexing technique, indexing always starts from zero and moves on. It is the zero, space is one, it is 2, it is 3. Now I want to take the value from, I want to take the d value here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At 7 it is, I will have to click string, and at the bracket I will take 7, then it will take the d. Now I want to take im, I want to take the multiple values. So for this purpose, what will I will do, I will create a bracket here. First of all, what will I do? I will start with the 0, because at the 0 I want all these values. And from where we move to where we move, actually we want to move to D. We want to move to A, this A. So count it: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you must write one more than that value. I will take the 11. So it will actually take print the data. So it is actually getting the data from the string using index. Getting the data from the string using index. Okay. Now let's move forward. The first, now the second thing, the one more thing is how we can replace value in a string. For example, I am a data scientist and I want change it to the web developer. So for this purpose, what I will do, I will do string dot replace. Here I will pass data scientist, data scientist, and I will replace with the AI engineer. We can see here I replace it with AI engineer. To replace something, to replace something, this function is used for to replace something. Okay. Now I want to check whether my string starts with a some number or not. For this purpose, I will use starts with. If my string starts with W, it will answer me false. No, it's not start with a W. And if I talk that my string start with I, then it will tell me that it's true. To check if a string starts from a particular value or not. Particular value or not. Okay. The same thing we can use with ends with. So in the ends with we can talk about it ends with tree. To check if a particular value, to take, I will copy this thing and I will change the definition here. You ends with a particular value or not. If our string ends with a particular value or not, it will ask me false. But if I click on here on I, or it will also it will also tell me that it's false. But if I click here T, then it will ask me that it ends with the true. Okay. Now these are the some functions that we can do with a string. The second thing is we can also split the string. For example, I have a string here. I have a string variable here. I want to split the every element in a string. String dot split. It will actually split it by space. I will be separated, im will be separated, a will be separated, delta will be separated. For example, this is a string and I want to split this data with ai, which means that it will start from here. It will it will start from here. When it will be I, then it will separate this data. For example, at the place of I, it will replace something else, and after that it will make a second string. So what does it do? Split actually separates the thing based on the some value. So for example, I have a string called I m a s. So if I click on string dot split, on which value I want to split the string, I want to split with the comma. So it will generate me I will be separated, a will be separated, s will be separated. If I click here on a, then what it will do, it will first of all print the I. When it will be a, it will separate it. Then it will print the m. Then it will print the comma. Then it will find out it's again a, then it will stop. Then it will start with the comma and it will print it again. So this is actually the split function. So that was all from today's video. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon for the future videos. Bye bye. Thank